Hello. How's it going, everybody? What's up, LiDAR? I'm doing like these. I know the title says tumblers. I guess they're more like pint glasses. They're powder coated. And we're getting them done in 15 seconds, which is really impressive. So I wanted to share it. They're so fast that my lighting looks weird today. It's very bright. Let me see. What happens if I turn this? Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, that's better. They're so fast that I can hardly unbox them in time to put the next one in before the first one is done. So I'm gonna go sit over there. That's why we got the second mic. I have it angled. Excuse me. I have it angled so that hopefully you guys can hear me all right when we switch over. And I've got my phone with the live stream inception there. Look at that. So I'll be able to read comments and respond to you guys. So that's what I'm doing today. If you have questions, feel free to ask. I'm just going to try to knock these out as fast as possible. So without further ado, let's head over to the EasyCAD cam. It should be set up and ready to go. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I know it's a little loud over here. If you can hear me all right, hit me in the chat. Let me know how we're doing on sound. All right, I'm good. Good, that's what I like to hear. I'm just gonna kind of prop my phone up on top of the Galvo head here so that I can see what I'm doing. Here are the cups we're doing. They do need a little cleaning. They're not clean free. They need a little TLC, but you know, they work. So that's all good. Whoop, okay. Like dropping boxes and stuff. But anyway, what's up, J-Mac? Hey, Marco. I'm not unboxing these very responsibly. I'm just kind of taking the stuff and just throwing it. Whoop. Whoop, that's not good. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, that's a problem. Let me go see if I can fish that out the other side of the fan. Hold on, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Okay, got it fixed thanks to the handy dandy multi-tool here. So there's that. Let's try not to do that again. So anyway, we'll just get the exhaust back on here. Luckily it didn't get all tangled up in the fan blades. It was just kind of sitting there. It fell in nicely, so it's pretty easy to get that out. So anyway, I don't want to waste too much time. I am going to pop back over to the desktop just so I can show you guys how this is set up in EasyCAD real quick. So let me do that. Hi. So, I can't believe the fan sucked that up. That was funny. So desktop. Let's look at the desktop here. Boom. Okay. So desktop. Oh, nope. Come on. Hold on. Oh, that's my wife and my baby. Looking cute. This is the wrong monitor, though. Hi, Coraline. Can we try that again? How about this one? There we go. All right, cool. I don't even have chat up, so I can't see what you guys are saying. Oh, okay, Ark's here. What's up, Ark? So here's the graphic. We're using ProjectMark, so we don't have to rotate the cup, which is really nice. And it actually does the math and skews this graphic so that it appears correctly on the little pint glass or tumbler or whatever you're doing, without having to do anything extra. In order to get to ProjectMark, we have our object selected here. We'll come to Laser, ProjectMark, and the two important things we want to make sure we include: the focus length. This is basically the length of your focal stick. Okay, so you just use the focal stick and you focus like a quarter of the way to halfway down the curve. I find going like actually halfway is a little too far down. Like a quarter tends to be good because the fall off is exponential. And then your part diameter. Since we're doing the little pint glasses and they're kind of V-shaped, I'm just using the diameter from the middle of the pint glass. So set both of those. And then that's really it. When we covered like where to focus and stuff, just make sure. So like you'll see my graphic here is actually off of the center line, and that's because the center of my jig, the way that it screws down into the work table, is actually off center a little bit. I could cut my jig differently to make it actually fit in the center based on where the screw holes are, but I find it easier personally to just offset the graphic a little bit. So that's what's going on here. So another important note there. But with that done, I mean, that's all we literally have to do. So we can come into here, we'll go to ProjectMark, and we hit F2, and that's it. So we can go ahead and switch back over here, and we'll get this marking. And this works particularly well with the foot pedal. So we can go ahead and hit the foot pedal, and it's going to start marking. And then when it's done, we hopefully have a new cup unboxed, and we swap it, and we hit the foot pedal again. We have 17 more of these to do, so we just need to do this 17 times. There were 50 total in the box. Hi, Mom. Everybody give a shout out to my mom, I guess. And this is it, guys. Look how fast these tumblers are going. I mean, if there's one reason at all to buy a CO2 Galvo laser, this is the reason right here. It's going to take longer to clean these and repack them than it's going to take to get them marked. Ah, that's funny. No, nobody can see you, Mom. And yeah, our current run time is 14.2 seconds. 14.2 seconds for each cup. Not bad. Not bad at all. Mom, Dean says, how does it feel to have a son who has thousands of people who hang on his every word? You guys can see just how ridiculously fast this is at this point. She said, oh, I don't know. That's funny. That sounds like my mom. She's like, it's fine, I guess. My mom's probably like, I wish you finished college. Yeah, guys, we're whipping through these right now. Special shout out, I'm sure he's not watching right now, but special shout out to Alex Campbell for teaching me pretty much everything I know about CO2 Galvos. They're very different from UV and fiber. UV and fiber are very, very similar to one another, but there's a lot of very specific stuff that you need to know about CO2 Galvos in order to use them effectively. Alex kind of got me there, so. Also, after the stream is over, I will put a link to this jig in the description. Again, this jig was made by Alex Campbell. All of these parts are interchangeable, so you can actually take them out and swap them for different sized V shapes here, which allow you to do different sized cups and tumblers. And then you just bolt the flat part down to the bed. It can be cut on a CO2 laser. So if you have a CO2 laser, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's really good. So there's two U's, one for the deeper, larger diameter part of the cup, and then a skinnier one for the skinnier part of the cup. And then I'm using this other one. This is for just a different tumbler, but it's tall enough that I'm using it as a backstop for the cup. So the cup can only go so far. And that just keeps them nice and fast. The main reason you'd want to use a CO2 over a fiber, Steve, is because the CO2 is not going to mark the metal. So you just get that raw metal underneath without actually like engraving into the metal. You'll see that when we're done. That's the main thing people struggle with when they're doing a fiber laser on a tumbler. And I can show you that actually. So this is one that I did with the CO2 Galvo earlier, and as you can see, it's got that nice stainless steel shine to it. There aren't any lines or anything. This is a mess up, so you know, it's just one that I have laying around. It's got that nice steel shine. If you do the same thing on a powder-coated tumbler, you get, on the fiber, you get like these lines in there. I don't know how well you can see it right now, but it's got a bunch of like lines where you can see the hatch, because the fiber is actually marking the metal, right? We're ablating the metal when we use a fiber laser. The CO2 laser is incapable of ablating the metal, so it only removes the powder coat. It eliminates all of the frustration of, you know, what you have to deal with when you're trying to do the same thing with a fiber. Does that mean it's impossible with a fiber laser? No. You know, there are things you can do like defocusing the laser and using high frequencies that will allow you to get a very similar mark on the fiber laser, but it's much more difficult. And part of the reason it's more difficult is because different cups and tumblers have different powder coat thicknesses, different powder coat makeups. If you do just too much power on the fiber, you're going to end up marking the metal, which is not what you want here. We just want to remove the coat. The CO2, again, is incapable of marking the actual metal, so you can just throw a ton of power downrange at it. All of the powder coat is going to disappear, no matter how much or how little or how consistency it's applied, and you never have to deal with those marks on the actual metal underneath the coat. So big difference. Big difference on why you would want to use the CO2 on that. All right, last one. So in that amount of time, probably the amount of time it would have taken me to do 2 of these on the gantry CO2, we've done 17 on the Galvo. Which is just, obviously, it's incredible. All 50 of these probably took me about an hour. Here you can see all of the boxes, and down here we've got all of the bags, and then all of the tumblers sitting right over here. So that's, you know, that's the long and short of it. We're not gonna probably clean all of these today, though they don't take a lot of cleaning, but we can look at that real quick. I'll bring you guys back over to the desk here, so that you guys can see me clean one. I guess we'll do like a before and after, and then we can move on to a new project. How much each? I'm not sure, but the order form's laying around here, so when I go back to my desk, I will take a peek at it and let you know. All right, so same things we always use to clean these. Zep, alcohol, magic eraser, microfiber cloth, and here's one of our cups. And we'll take a look at cleaning these in just a second. I'm not going to clean them all on stream, but I want to at least show you guys how difficult they are to clean, which is the answer is not very, and what they look like before and after. And then we can move on to a different project. We can go do something else. Let's see. I'm just pulling up my invoices here so I can see what I charged per each on these, because I was asked. All right, Dean. So these cost they're $10 a pop. They're $10 a pop on those, so not a cheap job by any measure for them. You know, they're paying for it, which is good. That's how you make money. So yeah, $10 a piece. So here's the before, which is less than impressive. If I can get it to focus here, it's fine, but it's kind of matted. and dark, and that's not what we want to see. Also, these are different than their powder-coated tumbler brothers and sisters because they have kind of like this flat metal inside. I don't know if you can see that texture. So that's the texture we're going to get on the outside. These do not have a brushed steel finish like a tumbler would. So we're not going to see that brushed steel finish under this once we clean it. It's going to look more kind of like that, like, you know, powdered look to it, like powdered metal look. So that's what we're going to get on the front once we clean it. But yeah, so there's the before. Just kind of get that into your mind. Take a look at that. Soak it up. And then all we need to do here, very simple, just grab our alcohol. We're going to get a little bit of that on our magic eraser. Just a quick scrub. I'm pushing really hard, but we're not going to do it for very long. So that's it right there, done. And then we put that in our towel and we give it a quick spray and we wipe it off with our microfiber cloth and we're done. This can now go in the box. And then you just have to do that 50 more times. So here's the after. So there's the cleaned up look on that for you. So you can see it's got less of that kind of like brushed metal look underneath, and definitely more of like kind of that speckled like powdered metal look, but still really, really nice, super clean. And of course they only took 15 seconds a piece, so you really can't beat that. Yeah, micro eggshell look. Thank you, Steven. That's a good way to describe it. Kind of like a sandblasted look. Sure. So yeah, so that's it. That's literally all there is to it. Like I said, we're not going to harp on these because that would be boring, just sitting and watching me clean 50 of those. So I will do that later off camera. Go ahead and move these out of the way. But they're very, very fast and easy to do with the CO2 Galvo. Speed really is the thing. You know, they're not the best for details. I just ranted about this for a long time on the podcast. Not the greatest detail machines, but if you're going for speed, you just can't beat it. Johnny says, wish I had enough business to justify the cost of a CO2 Galvo because that machine is amazing. It really is. Yeah, it's a really, really cool piece of equipment. All right, let's see what else we have to do today. It's not going to be a super long stream, but I wanted to just, I don't know, I just wanted to pop in and kind of show that to you guys. But while we're here, we can do something else. I'd like to do some more CO2 Galvo stuff if we can, and I believe that we can. I'm going to go take a look at the job shelf, and I'm probably just going to run across the hall real quick, so give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. I see at least 2 more jobs we can do on the CO2 Galvo today. Dean says, Alex, if you could pick one, would you choose the CO2 Galvo or gantry? Based on the kind of stuff that I like to do, I would probably get the Galvo first next time if it was me. The only real thing that you lose there, obviously you're losing the size of the bed. The biggest you're really going to be able to go on the CO2 Galvo is like a 200 millimeter lens before the dot size becomes unusable. So that's about 8 inches. So you're getting like an 8-inch by 8-inch workspace on that. And of course you lose your ability to cut. It can cut like really, really thin stuff, but that's about it. So there are definitely some sacrifices that you have to make. But, you know, I'd probably go Galvo. It's just so much faster. It's just so much faster. In an ideal world, you would have both. But I think I would go with the Galvo just for the speed. And then you get a gantry again at some point. Isaiah says, I got my first call on my Google business number and they disconnected. Ooh, that sucks, man. That's a bummer. And Johnny says, I did 500 metal business cards on my CO2 gantry machine. My God, the cleaning took forever. You might be using too much power. You shouldn't Shouldn't really have to clean them. I don't even have my CO2 Galvo settings on these cups. Could be better, I think. You should be able to hit them once and not have to clean them. Because that's the way Alex Campbell does it. I'm still dialing my stuff in, but if you're ever having a really hard time cleaning metal that you've marked with a CO2 laser, like some kind of powder coated or painted metal that you've marked with a CO2 laser, and it's taking a really long time to clean it, you may be using too much power. You can actually roll back on the power a little bit. What happens is the paint or powder coat or whatever that's on there can actually bake into the surface of the metal, and it becomes very, very difficult to clean if you use too much power while you're trying to remove it. So maybe ease back on the power a little bit, and that might help you out. Eric says, first time catching live. Can't wait for laser to arrive. Congrats on your new laser, Eric. That sounds awesome. What kind of laser did you get? I'm going to let you respond to that really quick. And yeah, obviously, Dean, yes, the fiber would be much better suited for, business cards. I would really only use the CO2 on something where I wanted that brushed steel look to shine through, right? That's why we like using the CO2 for tumblers, because we get that brushed steel insides show through, and that looks really beautiful. So that's why we would use the CO2 for just about anything else. The fiber is going to be the way to go. You got the 50 watt 2.5D Mactron. Nice. Mactron owner in the house. I like it, Eric. That's really exciting, man. Yeah, it could have been bad coating on the cards too, for sure. So we will do more CO2 Galvo stuff in just a minute. I see a few different jobs over there that I want to tackle on the CO2 Galvo while we're here, since we've kind of finished the tumblers. But give me like 2 seconds and then we'll jump right back into it. Okay, guys? I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, I have 3 jobs here that I think would be great to do on the CO2 Galvo. I have the 210 millimeter lens in right now, and I want to kind of show off its capabilities a little bit and show that the large lens isn't just good for tumblers. It's good for some other things too. So I'm going to set this over here, and it's a football cutting board. Check that out. So let's get this open. Let's see. Eric says, hopefully I don't regret getting the motorized Z after reading a few comments in the Discord. Lucky for you, Eric, if you don't like it, you can just remove it. According to JMac, I believe that's what JMac did. He just took it off. So, if you really hate it, you should be able to just pop it off and go about your business. Bamboo cutting board right here, football, right? And they want some Eagles stuff on it, so we need to find some Eagles stuff really quick. I'm gonna go ahead and hop into Google. So let's find it. So there's the Eagle. That's gonna be the easy one. And here we go. We've got the this kind of has everything. This is kind of the all-in-one here. So assuming, let's just see if we can find this. This is really in my way. Let me zoom that in just a little bit. Okay. Assuming we can find this in a decent size, it's 800. That's not ideal. That's a bigger Eagle, but I kind of like having like everything together. That one's really tiny. Just looking for like a good size. I guess this is the best one we're going to be able to get easily, but that's fine, I think. Let's open it up here. It's not ideal either. Let's try the old open image and new tab trick. There's that. So this will do. So we'll save this. There it is. We'll open Photoshop. Bring this in. We're going to have to resize it and do some trace and stuff. Shahin says, hi. Hi. Image, size, at least 8 inches, 600 DPI. This is kind of like the old days, guys. We'll hit OK. Now, you see how when we resized that, we got all these hard lines and super blurry pixels? This is a red flag to me. So what we need to do is we need to come to image mode, and you'll see it says indexed color. Indexed color basically maintains the pixels of the image. So if we switch this to RGB, we do the same thing, image, size, 600 DPI, 8 inches. It's going to give us these smoother lines in here. You see that? See how it's doing smoothing for us? That is ideal. And then lastly, we can just, we'll go ahead and do a threshold, image adjustments, threshold. We'll just try to find a sweet spot here. So like that doesn't look horrible. Either way, it's going to need just a little bit of work. I don't want too much. I think I'd rather sacrifice these like inner pieces in the middle here and not have to clean up all these edges around the letters. So we'll just get those to go away, and that looks really good right there, just like that. So with that done, we can save this. That's basically laser ready. So we'll save over the old one, and then we'll bring it into Illustrator. You can do this in LightBurn. You can do this in, like Affinity Designer. But we like Illustrator here, so we're going to keep using Illustrator. Johnny asks if I had the football cutting boards in stock or did somebody order it and then brought it to me. All of my customers bring stuff to me. I don't really keep any stock here. I think stock is a pain in the ass. something I'll eventually I'll probably, you know, move to like having stock on stuff, but as of right now, I don't really keep any stock. So they definitely brought this to me. Did not hold shift when I resized this. Not that I really need to resize it anyway. Louisiana Hobby Guys here. What's up, man? Thank you. The new Rugrat is great. We're really happy to have her. Everybody's healthy, so we're feeling really grateful. I'm new, and that K40. What do y'all think? Good luck. I would get something with a Ruida controller. I'm assuming you're asking about buying something, Rana. I would go up a level and get something with a Ruida controller if I were you. That way you don't have to like modify the K40. K40s are fine if you're a tinkerer and you enjoy that. Go for it. But otherwise, I'd get something with a Ruida controller in it. Here's our Eagles thing. It's kind of bumpy. Not that I really think you're going to be able to see this in the final graphic once it's actually engraved, but if we go ahead and trace it, tracing's going to smooth it a little bit for us. I think it could be a little bit smoother, so we're going to expand, ungroup, select the white, select, same, fill color, and delete. And then we'll grab all of this here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to Object, Path, Simplify. We're just a little bit. Just going to simplify it a little bit. And what that's going to do, if we simplify it like too much, you can see how much it like really curves things out, and it gets wonky and kind of curvy and weird. We don't want that. We just want like the major bumps kind of taken out there. 582 points looks good. And with that done, we can save this. And what they basically want us to do is they want the Eagles on top of the football, and they want the eagle at the bottom. And that's easy enough for us to do here. Let's go ahead and get these grouped. So one group here, like that, and then we'll group this down here, like that. And the football stitching will be in the middle, and that's about it. So we can save this. Save it to the desktop as Eagles, E-A-G-L-E-S. Don't forget to save as version 8. And we'll close this. And I actually have to turn the CO2 Galvo back on. So let me go do that. We're also going to have to take apart our acrylic jig there, so I'm going to do that too. So I'm going to switch you guys over here. Dave asks, why can't you just do that with a fiber laser? Fiber's not really designed to do wood. Fiber doesn't look great on wood. It burns out really bad because you have to throw so much energy down at the wood to get it to mark nicely, that it ends up kind of like splotchy and gross. We did a couple live streams a while ago where we were trying to do wood. Just doesn't look good. Fiber laser's not designed for it. The CO2 Galvo is going to do a much better job. All right, you guys are on the far mic again. I will be right back. We're going to take this jig apart, and then hopefully we'll get our cutting board down. So let's just take a beat and do that. How do you set the laser parameters if your customers bring you new stuff every time? You find good averages. that kind of work for everything pretty well. You know, like all bamboo is more or less, you know, the same settings. All granite is more or less going to be the same settings. You kind of work from there. You kind of change stuff on the fly. It's a lot of improvisation for sure, but it gets the job done. Being able to adapt will take you a long way in this industry and help you stand out from your competition for sure. So we're just going to refocus with our focal stick here. So there we go. And the next thing we really want to do is center this up. So I'm going to create a nice big red box so we can kind of center things around our stitching there. So now we'll come back over to the PC to get that part done. So with the CO2 Galvo on, we can open the appropriate folder here. So we're using our 210 lens, so we want to make sure we launch 210 EasyCAD. There it is. That looks great. And we're just going to kind of start. We're just going to kind of make a box. We'll hit C to center, and we're going to light it. And then we'll just take a peek. Let's just take a peek over at the EasyCAD cam and see if that's about the appropriate size. It looks like it needs to be taller and a little skinnier to be what we're needing it to be. We have room to play, so that's no problem. So back over here, we'll go taller and just a little bit skinnier on that. We'll go ahead and light that, and we'll look again. And that looks really promising. So next we can actually line the cutting board up. So let's get the cutting board lined up there. And I'm just gonna try to get the stitching equivalent on both sides, and I really want all 4 of these corners to be equidistant from the edge. And that'll be good enough for me if we can get that close. Doesn't have to be perfect, just close. And that's looking really, really good right there. Back in the desktop, let's go ahead and import our artwork. So we'll go to import, and we got to find our desktop because that's where I saved it for the stream here. Eagles, we'll open. It's pretty big. So let's take that down. Another thing that would be kind of helpful here is if we knew where our stitching was, so we can actually do that too really quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of this out, and we'll paste that back in. We're going to delete the eagles because we've got it on the clipboard now, and we're just going to bring these down. We're looking for that stitching, right? So we'll bring that down a little bit smaller, take a peek here, and light that up. And that's actually really, really accurate. It looks like we can fix our straightness just a touch too. So I'm gonna do that real quick. So that's looking much better. And then finally we'll paste everything back in here. So now we know where our stitches are. That's our off limits area. We can ungroup our artwork, and we're going to group by, chunk here. So we'll group this, hatchet, and bring this over so that that's in the right-ish area. We can hold shift and select the outline and do modify, align, vertical center to kind of snap that left and right so that pops into the right place. And then we'll just go ahead and manually move it up so that it's not riding the stitches. Somewhere in the middle should be good. And then we'll do the same thing for the eagle over here. So we'll select the whole eagle. We're going to group. Oop, wrong button. Hatch. Hit OK. And let's just kind of get that close. We can resize this a little bit here. That's looking really good. And same thing. I'm just going to hold shift and select the outline. Modify, align, vertical center. I think the eagle can actually come up just a little bit. We want the eagles here, from here to here, and from the top of the head to there. I want those to be about the same so that it's consistent. And I like this layout. Our S and our E are just overlapping our outline box a little bit, so we just want to make sure those are both staying on the football. So we'll go ahead and grab our outlines here and remove them. And we're going to light the artwork and just see where those things fall. And if you look up in that kind of top left and top right corner, the both of the edges of the text there, those are falling where I want them to fall. That looks really good. So what we can do is go ahead and run this. Be pretty straightforward. So I'm going to turn on the exhaust. That's the first thing we need to do. And then next, what we want is to uncheck use default, select a parameter from library. We have F bamboo here. So again, just kind of like a general bamboo setting, should do well for what we're trying to do. And we can run this. So we'll pop back over to the EasyCAD view and let's get this running. All right, so I just went ahead and stopped it there. It's looking really weak. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually slow the speed down a little bit. I want to take it down to maybe like, I don't know, 750. I really want this to be dark. I want to cook it. So we're going to slow our speed down to 750. We're going to leave our power at 90. Frequency, we could probably come down to 20. Give it a little more punch there on that. And we'll try to run it again. Some notes. I don't really like the way it's coming out, so I just want to touch that up. So let's try these new settings and see how these do. Oh yeah, now you can hear it. Now it's getting in there. Dean says, "Hey Alex, how soon before you start releasing an Auteur settings library?" I don't know. Not super long, but not tomorrow. You know, I'm going to mess around with them. Diode lasers are definitely not my priority on this channel, but that said, I do want to engage with that a little bit, so it's on my radar. Not my immediate radar, but it's on my radar. Oh, yeah. I didn't even see that. Yeah, everybody go subscribe to the Louisiana Hobby Guy right now for amazing LightBurn tips and tricks. If you guys like LightBurn, Louisiana Hobby Guy is the guy you want to be subscribed to on YouTube, so definitely go check that out right now. 40 concurrent viewers on the live stream right now. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you haven't already, smash the like button. It lets other people know the content is good. It puts this video in front of more viewers. So if you have 2 seconds, head under the live stream, smash that like button for me. Really makes a big difference. So you can see this is definitely, you know, it's bamboo. And you can tell for sure if we just go ahead and kind of zoom in on that there. That inconsistency, that is like textbook bamboo behavior right there. But it's okay. It's still going to look good when it's done. I'm not freaking out. I'm not worried. If I have to run this whole thing twice, I can do that, and it will still be faster than running this on the gantries. So, not super concerned, but, you know, it's not lovely. You can see how dark it gets there when we pass over from the one strip of bamboo to the next, and you're really getting those color variations. That's bamboo. And yeah, as Louisiana Hobby Guy says, bamboo sucks with any laser. Truer words have not been spoken. Louisiana Hobby Guy says he's got all the Auteur cut libraries on his forum, so go check out his website. I think it's like LA Hobby Guy. Just Google it. You'll find it. He's got all those resources there as well, so if that's something you're interested in, definitely go check that out. Mitch Hunt says, I think there may be parameters for the Discord, or for the diode in Discord, in the diode section. Go check that out as well. So yeah, this looks fair, but I think if we just run it again, I just kind of want to run the whole thing one more time. At the very worst, we'll get some extra depth out of it, and depth is always nice because depth adds shadow. So we'll go ahead and just run this. I'm just gonna run it one time. It's so fast. That whole last pass that we did took 2 minutes and 54 seconds. So it's a 3-minute run. On a gantry CO2, this might be a 15 or a 20-minute run, depending on your DPI. So still a massive time savings on that. Yeah, I definitely think multiple passes will help us out here. It's certainly not going to hurt. We'll have to go take a look at it. I'll show you guys on the main camera. It's going to do more justice, I think, as well than the webcam camera. So as soon as it's done, we'll pick it up and we'll bring it back over. We'll take a look at it in person here. Well, don't have fiber envy. This is a CO2 Galvo laser, so this is actually a CO2 beam right now, doing this work. It's a similar Galvo style laser, but with a CO2 beam. It's got a 10,600 nanometer beam, which is really, really cool. But we certainly would not be getting results this good with a fiber laser. If you want to learn more about CO2 Galvo lasers, check out the lasers page. It's lasereverything.net/lasers. Got a couple links in there for you. Yeah, the fiber would never do anything this nice with bamboo. Second pass definitely seems to be helping us out here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, I'm going to go grab that. and then we can take a closer look at it. As I suspected, it looks considerably better in person than it does on the webcam. The R6 should do it justice on that. We can go ahead and zoom so you guys can see some of the details in that. Again, is it perfect? No, it's bamboo, so it's gonna be far from perfect on that, but still overall, I think a nice look, and I think this is something the customer is going to be happy with. And most importantly, the runtime on the laser for this was 6 minutes. So, I mean, 6 minutes, guys. Yeah, it looks pretty great. So, there's one done. All right. We'll grab the order form, and we'll go stick this on the outgoing shelf, and then we'll start our next job. So this is a Welsh love spoon. Interesting. Legend of the love spoon. I'm good on that lore. But at the end of the day, we've got a wooden spoon. We want to engrave it. So let's get it done. There it is. There's your love spoon. Now, normally, since we're doing such a small area on this, we're just putting something in the heart, or putting something inside the spoon. Normally, I would say we should switch to a smaller lens. We'll get better detail out of it that way. But this spoon part here, very deep. It's a very deep kind of curve on the spoon. And the 210 millimeter lens is going to do us a really good solid by allowing us to engrave more consistently on the inside of that big scoop. So I'm just going to leave the 210 in for now. So we've got our deal there. That's fine. And we'll go ahead and get rid of our Eagle stuff on the desktop here, and pop back into AI and create a new file. And this one is going to be for our love spoon. So go ahead and close that. And let's start building what's on our order form here. So we've got, yeah, the dark mark at the bottom of the eagle's head. It's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. Don't buy bamboo. So very simple here. Kim, Netter, and Jeff, Carey, just like that. And then inside the actual spoon, July 12th, 1987. That was easy enough. For this, I think we'll do black chancery. It's a great font. If you guys haven't seen it, really, really nice font. We'll expand that. So this is the section that's going inside the heart. Let's make our ampersand just a little bit bigger. We'll group each line. Center that up. So there's our heart text, if you will. And then we've got our spoon here. I actually can't remember if this was supposed to go in the spoon or if the date was supposed to go in the spoon. I think the date. I think it's the date. I don't really like how these offset and the numbers get big and then small. So sometimes, depending on the job, I'll center them up like that. And I think that looks good in this instance with these particular numbers. So we'll leave that way. And that's that. So we'll save this. New customer. We'll call this Love Spoon. Again, since we're streaming, we're just going to save it to the desktop for now. We can close that. And we're back in EasyCAD here, and we need some shapes, right? We need some shapes. My wife just DM'd me on Discord and said, check with the customer, don't just engrave it. We're engraving it. That's what we're doing. So let's get some measurements here. Handy dandy caliper. Our heart is 29 millimeters wide. Let's just get our box going here. 29 millimeters wide. And how much real workable space do we have on this thing? I'd say 29 millimeter square is fair on the Y there. So we'll do another 29 millimeters here. We do want to just make sure that we unlock our proportions. I always forget to do that. So 29 by 29. Right? Yes, good. Okay. We can center that box up, and we'll go ahead and light that up. And we'll get the spoon on there so that we can see... So this is where I'd really like the CO2 Galvo to impress me. I want to see if we can get decent detail out of this, even with the 210 millimeter lens. It should be okay. But there's no real way to know until we do it. That's nice and centered up there. Back on the desktop, we will import our artwork. So now we've got our square. We know that's our space we've got to work with. So we will import our Love Spoon file. And look at that. It's really close already. We'll go ahead and ungroup that. Group, hatch. Line space, 0.01, no thanks. How about 0.06? That's probably part of the reason why our cutting board was actually so dark. So that I changed the line distance there, and I did not change it back. So let's do 0.06 on that. Let's get that nice and center. And I think we can go ahead and increase our size here, because we really only fall off the edge of the heart down here in the corners. So we should have space for this. We resized, so don't forget to apply, because if you don't hit apply, your line distance will be wrong. So we'll hit apply. There we go. And that's looking pretty good. So we'll cut the outline, we'll cut the numbers. We'll give this one final light here. And we'll take a look at this and just make sure that everything looks good. I'm going to go stand up and go look at it in person real quick. Everything looks good, but I think we can just move it up just a touch. So we're going to go ahead and... Oop, wrong button. So we're going to go ahead and just move that up just a little bit. It's got a little more space there. I'm going to go take a look at that. And that looks really good. So with that all done, we will switch from the bamboo setting to the pine dark setting. That's kind of my general wood setting. I use that on most woods, but pine was the first one I tested. So pine dark it is. Back to the CO2 Galvo, and we'll go ahead and mark it. Here we go. All right, wow. So this wood very hard. That was actually very resistant to our laser. So we'll go ahead and slow the speed down here a little bit. Maybe take it down to 1,000. And let's try that one more time. That looks much better. I do want it to have some depth, so I'm going to go inspect it for depth real quick, and just decide if we want to hit this a couple more times. I think 3 to 4 passes would be sufficient, so I'm going to go ahead and add 3 more passes to this. Here we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're getting a really nice color there now. And here's the third and final pass. Very nice. And here is the final mark on that. Just go ahead and get you guys zoomed in here. And there's that for you. And again, this was with the 210 lens. We could have moved down to something like the 110 or even the 175, and we would have even sharper, clearer lines. But that's impressive considering we're using the 210. I'm really happy with those results there. That looks very, very nice. Very, very nice. Really happy with that. So now that that's done, we can move on to the spoon portion. And this is the reason that we're sticking with the 210 lens here, right? Now the spoon portion is just about the same size as our center bit here. So we can go ahead and remove these. And we'll center our outline back up. We're just going to take the size on that square down a little bit. We can group our date, hatch our date, center our date, probably get a little bit more size out of it. Hit apply to reassign that hatch, that line distance there. And lastly, we're going to cut the date and light the box. Come over to the Galvo CO2. Now, from this perspective, you guys can really see like how much of a curve we're dealing with. I just wanted to talk for a second about how we're going to focus this. The rule of thumb is halfway down the curve, right? So I'm going to try to finesse with our gigantic focal stick into this little space. But again, the whole reason we're sticking with the 210 millimeter lens is to help us get around these curves. So we're going to put that to the test right now. Let me focus it, and then we're going to run this. So I got that down to like where I was just barely touching where the red outline line is on the edge there. And then I went down like another millimeter after I got the focal stick out of there. Just to keep you guys up on what I'm doing here, what my plan is, right? So let's go ahead and paste the date back in. Recenter. We can really just take this edge to edge. We've got the room. And we'll cut the outline and let's light the date. Take a look at that. And there it is. That's looking really good. I don't have any problems with that. So with that done, same exact settings. We're going to just go straight to 3 passes on this one. And we will go ahead and mark it. And there we go. As you guys can see, the curve, no problem at all for our CO2 Galvo. 3 passes, basically instantly. Let me just check the depth on that, and we'll decide if we're done or if we want to continue. And I think we are very much done on the love spoon here. So that's another job. This one was $35. Took us about 10 minutes. No doubt that would have been significantly longer on a CO2 gantry machine. And it may have even struggled with that curve a bit more as well, but it's in there. And it's looking really good. That's sharp. It's good stuff. It's the whole thing right there for you. Good stuff. So that's done. Another one bites the dust. We'll get that wrapped back up for the customer. And again, the next job here is going to be on the CO2 Galvo with the 210 millimeter lens. Just because I'm wanting to show that off today because I've got it figured out and I'm really proud of it. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. So the final thing, the last thing here, we have move that, put this up here. We have this very old cutting board. This is a family cutting board, so we cannot mess this up. This has to go right the first time. There it is. This is like a 120-year-old cutting board right there. And we've got our little blue tape on there. It says up, so we know which way we want up. And what are we putting on this? A very, very old, this thing is like the Declaration of Independence. Family recipe right there. It literally feels like it's just gonna kind of crumble in my hands. So what we need to do is we need to get this scanned in. We need to prepare it for laser, and then we need to mark it. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna jump over to the desktop over here. My scanner is like way down here, super buried. So I just need to get that open and turned on so that we can actually scan it. I'm not even sure I have my scanner drivers on here. No, I do not. So we're going to install some scanner drivers really quick as well. My favorite scanner that I've ever owned in my entire life, it is the Epson, not Epson, Epson Perfection V600. And there it is. Amazing scanner. Amazing scanner. We'll go to support. We'll just get these drivers really quick. Get these installed. Scanner driver and Epson utility. Yep, perfect. Let's go ahead and keep this. This is a new computer that I got for streaming, so I actually don't have my scanner drivers on this machine yet. Let's go ahead and get these installed. While that install runs, all right, already done. I need to go put this in the scanning bed. So let me go insert this into the scanner. Hold on 1 second. Gotta kind of crawl under my desk here. All right, hopefully that's good. Such a rat's nest down there, it's really hard to tell how this is going to go. So now if we type scan, Epson scan, perfect. All right, come on. Takes a minute to warm up. There we go. We're going to click scan. Oh, we don't want full auto mode. Just gotta wait for this to finish doing its thing, I guess, because I forgot to take it out of auto. So there's the auto one. I'm sure that would be okay, but we can do better than that. So we're gonna take it out of auto and go into professional mode over here, so we actually get our options. We want like 1200 DPI, right? It's handwriting that we're scanning. It's got a lot of details in it. It's a reflective document. That means we're not doing film. It's on the document table. We can probably get away with grayscale on this. So we could do 16-bit grayscale. And we're going to turn off the unsharp mask. We don't want an altered image. We'll go ahead and hit preview. It's going to give us a preview scan. We don't want to scan the entire bed at 1200 DPI. That'll be a giant file and it'll take a lot longer than it needs to. So we'll just select what we want, which is right there. We can probably come in and just alter. Oh, here we go, up top. There we go. So we want, see that we got that text nice and dark. That's what we want. Good dark text there. We'll hit close and we'll go ahead and hit scan. It'll ask us a couple questions about what we're scanning. We want this to go to the desktop. We want a JPEG. And everything else looks good. We'll go ahead and hit OK. It's going to take a minute to scan now because it's, again, 1200 DPI. So we're getting a really high resolution scan out of this. Now, I talked to this customer and I told her that I can remove all of the lines from the notebook and stuff like that if she wanted me to do that. But it would cost extra. I told her double. I told her it was going to cost double. This is a $40 job right now, so it would have charged her $80 to take all those lines out and stuff. She said just leave them in. She actually seemed like she kind of liked them. So, you know, no problem there. Less work for us. We're just waiting patiently for this to scan. Again, having the higher resolution scan up front is really going to help us, so worth the wait. And then we're going to bring this into Photoshop to get it ready for the laser. There's not a lot we have to do, but there's, you know, it's a little bit. This is less than a minute now. This would be a great time if you guys haven't already smashed the like button to please do so. Helps other people find the channel. So here's our file. There's our good one. So we can close all this. We don't need that anymore. We'll get Photoshop open here. And we'll grab our recipe and we will bring it into Photoshop so we can start preparing things. So what do we need to do? Well, we actually have really good contrast on the pen here. So the pen is going to be much darker than a lot of the other junk. So all we really need to do to start, we can get rid of this entire bottom row of lines here. We don't need any of this. It's just wasted space on the final piece. So we got to blow our eraser up and just nuke those. Goodbye. That's gone. We can also kind of try to cut some of this off. It won't really matter after we do what we need to do, but you know, the less we have to deal with, the better. And then all of those can all just go as well. I'm going to start right here, and I'm just going to hold shift, and we're just going to take that right down and get that nice and flat. And that looks really nice. So with that done, we're going to do image adjustments, threshold. And here we can see there's our text coming through, right? You want enough that the text is dark and clean looking without so much that, you know, it's just a jarbled mess. Obviously, the right answer is in between somewhere. I think just before that big spike is looking really, really good. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. And lastly, we're just going to come in. We're just going to do some cleaning with the eraser. I'm not going to go crazy because, again, she told me to leave, you know, a lot of these details in. And we can definitely do that. But there's some stuff that would be easy for us to get rid of, like this crease in the middle of the paper here. I really don't like that. So I just want to kind of go through and get rid of that crease because the crease is horribly ugly. We're just going to work our way up here. And we're just dealing with the crease, right? This is where you go crazy and get every last dot, JMax says. That's normally what I would do. It's actually helping me that I'm streaming right now. That's going to prevent me from doing that. Because if I was not streaming at the moment, I very likely would be trying to get every last dot. A lot of these dots are so small they're actually going to trace out anyway in the final trace in Illustrator. So I'm not super concerned. But yeah, you could go nuts in here. You know, the human brain is much better at telling the difference between paper lines and marks and text, you know, so you could fairly quickly move through this document and remove the garbage. You could even go through if you wanted to and like remove all of these lines, you know, like this, like every single one of those lines from the paper if you really wanted to. But again, we're not doing that today. She didn't want to pay for that, and that's fine. I've got other things that I need to do anyway, so we're just getting that crease out, just kind of like a courtesy, because the crease is going to be really ugly. Up into this big area here, we can go with a big brush, and we'll just get a lot of that trash taken out right there. Kind of all at once, all in one shot. That's really where the noise is the worst, is up at the top there. Go a little bit smaller on the brush here and just kind of work within the bounds of, you know, a reasonable distance of these letters. And we're not going insane. We're just... It's a little too close there. Now, there's a line between that's what was on the paper, so that's what you get, because you didn't want to pay for processing, and like being professional. So we're just trying to be professional here. And we just want to get as much of this junk out as possible. Again, without going overboard. You know, I don't think I'm being unreasonably thorough right now. I think there's like a certain amount that you owe the customer when you tell them that you can do a project like this. So I'm just trying to kind of meet my obligation on that. It's going to go so fast on the CO2 Galvo too that I don't really mind spending the extra time trying to clean up the file. So, you know, there's that too. And again, a ton of these little dots are also going to trace out. So they're just small enough that they're actually not even going to show up. All right, we're almost done. We got all of Grandpa done there. We just need to do Chili. This isn't another reason I'm kind of spending some time on this is because this is not like a Big Lots cutting board, you know? This is like a family heirloom. It's been in the family for a really long time. So we just want to make sure we spend a little extra time. We really want to make sure this customer leaves happy when they come to pick up. It's not a lot of extra work, and it makes a big difference for them. So it's worth the extra time we're going to spend on this today, just kind of like getting into these notches and things. Another reason that it doesn't really matter if you're a little bit sloppy is because this is going to be so small. I mean, we're certainly not at 100% size here. It's going to be so small, it's going to be hard for them to tell about anything you've missed or nicked along the way. If you've nicked something, you make something a little too thin or a little too thick, you don't have to worry about that, because they're not going to see it. You might not even be able to see it at this size. There's that eye there. That's a little close. It's a little close even for me. We'll just make sure we get that eye taken care of. Come up over the L. That's fine. I'll leave that. And then the E. That looks good. We'll come in here with the big brush. Let's get that dot on the eye. Just try to keep that like authentic, you know, the way it was written. We're nearly done. Nearly done here. All right, I'm really happy with that. That looks a lot better. I think that's more than sufficient. It looks like we've got just like kind of a dark, kind of junky area over here on the right too. That seems relatively small and easy to clean up. So let's just really quick. You know, these little things, they don't look like much when you're doing your scan, but when you do the engraving, the extra noise really makes a big difference. You got some hair in there too. Like, there wasn't hair on Grandpa's original chili recipe, you know? So we just want to make sure we get that out. All right, that's looking really good. I'm still just a little bit concerned right here. Overnight. This is supposed to be overnight right there. NIGHT. I don't know how much we can do here. GH. We can flatten that line out. GH. We can get just a little bit smaller here on the eraser brush. Really draw out this H. And the T. We'll just try to keep it again. Right, I've said this 100 times. We're not going like super nuts. I just, you know, a baseline of, you know, professional courtesy. Overnight. It's not stellar, but it's going to be really small. So, not super worried about it. This is kind of gross up here too. Just get that out real quick. Whoop. Little rough there. Okay. Let's just step back here and look at the whole thing. Make sure it's more or less legible. I think it is. That looks really good. Would like to see how the trace feature handles something like this. Future business, here, loving the Galvo life. You have those tumblers dialed. The tumblers are looking really good. You deleted the dot on the last eye on chili. Oh, oops. Good call, good call. This is why we check the comments. We will grab our clone stamp tool really quick, and we will clone that dot, and we will drop it here. There we go. Perfect. All right, good. So, I think that's good. We'll just save over the original. I can always scan it again if something disastrous happens. We'll close that. And pop into Illustrator here. Just drop our recipe in. Do a quick trace. Shouldn't be a big deal. This should be pretty straightforward. So we'll go ahead and image trace. Hit OK. And that's looking pretty good. Let's see the before on that. Let's see. Not terrible. A little more threshold. We may end up, as LA Hobby Guy, you know, likes to remind us, over to LightBurn to do this real quick. This might actually be like a LightBurn trace module job. So, goodbye, Illustrator. Hello, LightBurn. And we will come in here and grab our recipe again. Let's bring that in. There it is. Right click. We're going to come down to trace image. Well, that's not good. Yeah, I was thinking trace, the sketch trace. We gotta use this ignore less than over here, but it's throwing a fit at the moment, so we just kind of have to wait. Yes. We just have to let it be done having its temper tantrum. Okay. Let's say, I don't know, let's just pick a random value. 20? What's that get me? Twenty's looking pretty good. Oh my god, I just wanted to click and drag, which apparently I'm not allowed to do. So slow. The trace is good, don't get me wrong. I just like, this is painful. Okay. I think 20 is actually a solid number. I'm just kind of randomly checking around here. I think that looks really good, actually. We'll take it. Oh, 200. Well, fair enough. So, with that done, there's our vector. Ridiculous. Let's delete that. We obviously can't leave this here, so, you know, let's first ungroup that, delete this. We'll group that back together. File. Export. As an AI, I don't know, grandpa, sure. And we'll shut this down. And we'll come back into EasyCAD. Now let's see how EasyCAD handles this. Import, Grandpa, open. Done. There it is. All right. EasyCAD, not the biggest fan of this file, but better than I expected. So we can just get that resized there. And before we get too carried away with manipulating this, I just wanted to get it to a manageable size. We need to kind of do some scouting, right? We need to see what we can get away with on our board. So here's our 210 by 210 millimeter box there. And let's just light this up on the cutting board and see what kind of space we can get away with. So we will go, let's go over there. All right. So it looks like we're actually going to have plenty of space to get this done, which is awesome. Well, spacer block here. Pop that underneath. We can get rid of our up arrow. We're done with that. And then I'm not gonna, you know, it's not exactly a symmetrical image, but we're going to just measure in from each side just to make sure that we're about the same distance. It's got about 3 on that side and about 2 on that side, so maybe like 1.5 inches instead. So 2 and 3. So, okay, my bad. 2.5. 2.5. So 2.5. So there's 2.5 there. And nope, that's still 3 over there. So 2 3/4. It's like perpetually 3 inches over here. So still 7/8. 2 7/8. I just said I wasn't gonna go nuts doing this, but there's 0, 2 7/8. Looks good. And that's about center there. So that's nice. Done touching it. Gonna leave it alone right there. We're really gonna kind of maximize our usage of the 210 millimeter lens here. So this is gonna be a real good test. We actually we copied and pasted that. Let's get rid of that outline. We don't want to forget that's there. The last thing we want is a big box around our recipe. We'll paste this in. Let's blow it up. Get it nice and big. Something like that will do nicely. We're going to hatch it. 0.06 should be fine. We'll just wait patiently for that to hatch. Look for weird stuff. Do you guys see anything weird? I don't. That's looking really good to me. Settings wise, this is what we just did on the Love Spoon. I liked the way that looked. I think that I would not like to do 4 passes again. So let's take our speed down to 500. Frequency around 10 should be fine. And we can mark it. So if you guys are ready to go, I'm ready to go. Let's see how this bad boy comes out. Hopefully really well. Don't forget, as we jump into the final stretch on this engraving, to smash the like button, please. And if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. Check out the Laser Master Academy. It's masters.lasereverything.net. Here we go, guys. Starting in 3, 2, 1, Mark. Oh my God, instantly. Look at that color. Admittedly, I probably could have done a little bit better of a job straightening this. It's not as lopsided as it looks. It's partially the wide angle webcam at play there, but it is a little crooked. So, you know, it's not, again, you'll see it when it's done. I'll show you on the main camera. It's not quite as bad as it appears there, but it's not stellar either. We could have done a little bit better, but it's too late now. You just got to commit. So we're committing. We could have gone faster and we still would have gotten a great mark. But I'm a big fan of depth. I really like engravings to be deep. I mean, you're getting it engraved, you know. It's kind of the fun of it. So I prefer to go a little bit slower and get that depth out of it. We're still moving significantly faster than we would be on the gantry, so. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot different compared to the K40 for sure. It's a big difference. You can see the effect that the fisheye is having on our straightness situation here as we approach the center line. Again, it is off, but it's not as bad as it looks at the bottom. The CO2 cannot do color. Lasers in general are not going to do color, with the exception of MOPA lasers, and only on ferrous metals, particularly steel, is really the only time you're going to see color. The CO2 laser is a very long wavelength infrared beam, so we're literally just, it's a heat laser. We're just burning the wood. And again, Isaiah, not a fiber laser. We are on the CO2 Galvo. So this is a CO2 laser that uses the same Galvo technology that you would find in a fiber. So not a fiber laser. You would get nowhere near as good a results as this on the fiber. So just want to avoid that confusion there. There we go. As you can see with that last line right there on the line that it's doing now, we're very close to being straight. It's maybe a degree or two off. It's very close. but we missed it by maybe a degree or two there. It's bothering me. I don't even think the customer's going to notice, if I'm being honest. But I notice, you know, it bothers me. You can see, funny enough, that line that it just did right there almost exactly lined up with the center line down the middle of the board. That's very true, Dan. That's very true. She's gonna love it. She'll adore it when it's finished. So I'm going to show you guys a trick, too, to get these to run a little faster with a second very low-powered pass. Just to prove a point after we get a runtime on this. So once we get a runtime on this, I'm going to show you how to cut the time down quite a bit. It doesn't work on large filled-in spaces, but it works very well on like thin, kind of like detail line work like this. A neat little trick. So as soon as this is done here, I'll go ahead and we'll run this job one more time over what we've already done, and I'll show you guys how we can improve on that. I wish I had thought of it before we started, but I wasn't thinking about it while we were getting things set up. Derek, you know, they're different tools for different jobs, man. That's what I always say to people. A lot of people say to me, you know, I'm going to upgrade from a CO2 to a fiber. I wouldn't call it an upgrade. They're very different machines for very different purposes. Is marking metal and inorganics more important to you, or is marking wood and organics more important to you? CO2 Galvo is going to excel with things like wood and leather, right? The fiber laser is going to excel with metals. I think there are more materials you can do with a fiber laser if you count every individual type of metal. You know, tin, titanium, steel, copper, brass, aluminum, you know, all the metals. You can get away with leather and a couple plastics, but it's not designed for that. There are better lasers if you want to mark those kind of things with a fiber. And people really struggle with doing things like tumblers. If you get the CO2 Galvo, you're going to do awesome work on wood. You're going to do really, really fast, very good-looking work on powder-coated metal tumblers, powder-coated metal like pint glasses, basically anything that's powder-coated. You're going to do incredible work with that on the CO2 Galvo as well. So, you know, fiber, metal, CO2 Galvo, wood, and tumblers. It's kind of the trick. And then the UV, of course, which did not arrive today. Again, we're still waiting on the UV laser. The UV can mark just about everything. So we could do this job with the UV laser. We could do metal marking with the UV laser. We can do every kind of plastic marking with the UV laser. But the UV laser is going to struggle with depth. So, you know, they're different tools for different jobs. They're both very versatile machines for what they are designed to do. And they're both important, you know. It's important to have a CO2 and a fiber if you're in the engraving business. You really need both. Yep. Coraline, little Coraline is here. She was born on November 15th. She's 9 pounds, 8 ounces. And she is very mild. We love hanging out with her. She's super chill. She just kind of likes to sit around and oogle at stuff. So, yep, everybody's healthy, happy, and I'm grateful for that. Coraline is scheduled to host her first live stream in about 3 weeks. So, that's a good way to do it, Dan. Get the most recent content last. Though there are a few things that you don't want to miss that we've posted recently that have some really important info in it. Okay, so that's done. Total runtime 10 minutes 50 seconds. Kind of slow. Not gonna lie, kind of slow. So let's see if we can get that a little bit faster. All we have is select our hatch over here. And we're going to go from the bidirectional hatch. That's the one that we have selected right now. We're going to go from bidirectional. And we're going to change that to the snaky pass right here. So there's your snake pass. Not broken snake with the dotted lines, right? Not unidirectional. Not bidirectional. We want snake. It's the one right after Aztec. There it is. Let's hit apply. And we're going to run this again at a very low power because this looks really nice right now. I don't want to mess it up. So we're going to drop the power to maybe like 15 just to get a time, right? So we're comparing the time on snake with the time on bidirectional. 10 minutes and 54 seconds is our target. Almost 11, okay? Let's go ahead and run this again at snake and compare our speed, all right? So here we go, back into EasyCAD. We're going to run this one more time with snake. We're comparing against 10 minutes, 54 seconds. Here we go. Let's give it a try. 3, 2, 1, mark. You're going to see a discernible difference after we run this pass. Because we're really just adding depth at this point. We're not doing much to the actual cutting board itself. We're just making the existing engraving deeper by hitting it at 15 power. Though you can see at 15 power, it's still, you know, we're marking. It's doing stuff. A lot of people don't think that 30 watts for a CO2 Galvo is enough, and they see higher wattage machines. They see 60 watt CO2 Galvos or 100 watt CO2 Galvos. Honestly, you don't need that much power. I find that I have issues with my dot size on CO2 Galvo machines before I have issues of not enough power. I've had enough power to do everything I've wanted to do with this machine so far. If you're looking to do polymers and plastics, Derek, what you want is a UV laser. So keep an eye on the channel because my UV laser should be coming. I mean, literally any day now. The UV laser is here. We can actually pull up the DHL. Let's look at DHL tracking real quick. And just see where the UV is. I just paid the duty on it today. It's in Rochester, and it's preparing for delivery. So the UV laser will be here tomorrow. Ultraviolet is way on the other side of the spectrum. Infrared is not good for marking and engraving plastics, and both the CO2 and the fiber are infrared lasers. And heat plus plastic equals melting. Right? So, you know, you don't want to melt plastic. If you really want to do plastics and polymers, if that's your goal, save the extra money and get an ultraviolet laser. We're going to have one again in the shop, hopefully tomorrow. And you're going to be able to see what that thing can do, because it really is impressive. Not only will the UV mark plastics and polymers very well, it will mark metals, it will mark wood, it will mark glass, it will mark acrylic. There's literally just about nothing you can do with it. Virtually, I should say, nothing that you won't be able to do with it. So I really, really highly recommend you hang tight for the ultraviolet demonstration, which again, hopefully, will be arriving tomorrow. We'll see. It is quite a bit darker with that extra pass, so I'm glad that we did it. It looked fine before, but the extra darkness is nice. I just went over and looked at it with my human eyes. It's not quite as dark as it appears on screen, as you'll see when we actually get it and hold it up to the camera there, but it's fairly dark. Also, it's odd, upon my in-person inspection of the cutting board there, when I walked over to take a look at it, it is actually straighter as it moves up the cutting board. The lines actually straighten out, so it does seem a bit off kilter at the bottom. And then as you approach the top, those lines really straighten out, which I would attribute to the boards not being straight. That bottom board, I think that the right side of that board is shorter than the left side. You guys will get to see it on the R6 in a second. We'll get it in front of the real camera for you. Wow, 47 of you guys watching the stream right now. How's it going, everybody? Glad to have you here with me today. Really glad that you could tune in for this live stream. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button. Consider signing up to support the channel over at masters.lasereverything.net. There's a link down in the description so we can keep this train moving. And don't forget to sign up for the Discord server. It's free. It's filled with awesome people that, they love the lasers, the pew-pews, and they love chatting and sharing settings and helping people out. We've got so many helpful members over there on the Discord server as well. So again, Laser Master Academy, if you want to support the channel, masters.lasereverything.net. If you haven't already signed up, go sign up. You don't want to miss out what's going on over there. And the free Discord server. Links to both down in the description. Thanks in advance for smashing the like button. If you want bonus points, come back to the stream after it's ended and leave a comment. Really helps boost engagement. The live streams don't get that many comments, but the comments really help put these live streams in front of more people. So you can do that as well. There's a pile of homework for you guys. Yeah, the UV is incredibly flexible. It's also incredibly expensive. It's it's a $7,000 to $10,000 machine, but it can do a little bit of everything. And when it comes in, we're going to be playing with that big time. What's up, Manzi? So just a reminder, as we come to the end here, our target time to beat was 10 minutes and 54 seconds with the bidirectional hatch. We're about to get a number on the runtime here with the snake pass. And our runtime is... (6 minutes and 46 seconds). So jumping over to snake effectively halved our runtime. It doesn't work very well on big filled-in areas, but when you're doing line work like this, snake is an effective alternative to the unidirectional or bidirectional hatch that can save you a ton of time. I'm going to go grab that off the bed so we can look at it on the R6. Be right back. Just give me 1 second. Okay, here we are. So just initial impressions. Would I prefer to have done this on the gantry? Maybe a little. While we did rip on speed through this, and it was very quick, we did lose quite a bit of detail. I'm not super thrilled with the detail on this, and that's just because when you get into like the 200 millimeter range on lenses on this machine, your dot size gets very thick. It's kind of like drawing with a Sharpie instead of a fine point pen. It does really well at 175. It does really well at 110. You get up into the 200s, the lines start getting thick, and you start to lose a little detail. So, if I was going to do this again, I'd probably run it on the gantry. If I'm being honest. I like my gantry. I have nothing against my gantry machine. I think both are important. Having the Galvo and the gantry both serve their purpose. This is probably a gantry job. That said, I'd also like to point out that this block of wood down here, definitely shorter on one side by quite a bit. If we just take a second to measure, let's see, over here, 86 millimeters on that side, and over here, about 70. So 10 millimeter difference, which I didn't really think, but there it is. There's the final mark there for you. So you can go ahead and check that out. Sorry, I'm trying to hold it still here for you. And if you guys want to take a peek at the details, we'll go ahead and zoom in. Not terrible. It's really not bad, but it would be sharper on a gantry. It really would. It would be sharper on a gantry. I'm not thrilled by this line down here. That's not really doing it for me. We probably should have cleaned that up a little bit more. But overall, clean. And no doubt fast. Very, very fast. So, you know, not bad at all. Especially considering what we started with, which was a mess. This is fairly impressive. So, yeah, I can still read it too. It's definitely legible. Again, I would have preferred the detail that the gantry would have provided us on something like this. So if I was going to do this again, again, likely would have done this on the gantry, but I'm happy with it, and I'll be proud to give that to the customer. One last look for you. There you go. One final look there at the final mark. Good results. I want to say they're not like excellent results. They're good. It's a strong good. The CO2 Galvo really shines with 210 millimeter lens with like big logos. You know, stuff with like defined edges that don't necessarily require like a ton of detail. The gantry is always going to win. If you haven't listened to it, the episode of the Laser Source podcast that we just published, we get into it about the differences between the CO2 Galvo and the CO2 gantry. So go listen to that and let me know what you think of it. Leave a comment in that video. Leave a comment in this one after the live stream is over, guys. I'm just going to plug everything one more time. We're on our way out. I've done everything I need to do today except clean these pint glasses, which is going to have to wait until tomorrow. Because I've got a baby at home that needs me, and I think my wife has probably just about reached her limit. So, one more time, I'm going to look into the camera for this. One more time, don't forget to check out the Laser Master Academy. It's the best way to support the channel. You can sign up right now. It's pretty inexpensive. You get bonus live streams, just like this one. We do them all the time. There's well over 40 now, dozens and dozens of hours of bonus live streams for you to check out. Plus bonus episodes of the Laser Source podcast every week. When those come out, you get instant access to all of my parameter libraries, and you get to be part of an awesome community of people. There's a ton of people in there. You can chat with everybody. You can share stuff. All of the same great community benefits that are offered on our free Discord server. So if you're not already on the Discord, go sign up. Again, there's a link to both of those in the description. The Discord server is a great place. If you can't support the channel, you can't afford it or whatever, it's not in the budget, doesn't matter. Go sign up for the Discord. It doesn't cost a dime. You can still chat with me and everybody else that is part of the Laser Everything community whenever you'd like. So that's really great to check out as well. Coming up, UV stuff, probably tomorrow, hopefully. We've got a 5-watt Ingu laser UV from Mactron arriving here, hopefully from DHL. We're going to get all into it. I'm going to live stream all day. The second it comes in, we're going live. We're not going to stop until the end of the day. We're just going to ride the UV all day. We're going to test glass. We're going to test acrylic. Basically every plastic that I have sitting in the shop, we're gonna make sure we put under that machine. And probably do like some wood and metal too, because you can do that with UV. That's what makes it so amazing. So we're really going to push that to the limit, hopefully tomorrow. So if you enjoyed today's live stream, make sure you swing back for tomorrow's live stream as well, because that's going to be a good time. So we did Discord, we did the Laser Master Academy, we did what's coming up, UV laser tomorrow. Probably going to have a video coming out on laser timing soon. I keep linking people to Jeffrey J's video. I want to get a little deeper than he gets in his, though his video is very good. But I do want to get a laser timing video out, so we'll cover that soon too. And I think that's it. I think that's everything. I think that's all we got today. So I hope you enjoyed the CO2 Galvo time, guys. I hope that was fun for you. Thanks, Dan. It was great having you by. I'm glad that you caught a live stream today. Hopefully we'll catch you tomorrow for the UV. Alex Campbell has his finger on the trigger for a UV. You should do it, man. Do it. He's waiting to see if the 5 watt is powerful enough to engrave glass quickly. I'm fairly certain it will be. My understanding, not to get off on a tangent right before we close, is that the 3 watt is kind of equivalent to a 30 watt laser. The fiber. The 5 watt is kind of equivalent to a 50 watt fiber. So the 5 watt should be powerful enough to do just about whatever we want. So we'll definitely find out. Dinner bell's ringing for Louisiana Hobby Guy. I gotta get myself home too. Thanks so much for stopping by, man. It was great having you on the channel with us today. Don't forget to subscribe to Louisiana Hobby Guy if you haven't already. And Johnny Sandberg says, looks great though. I think so. Three jobs. 1, 2, 3, and then the pint glasses. So 4. We got 4 big things done today. Feeling really good about that. We'll get those packed up so that the customers can pick them up tomorrow. That's all I've got, guys. Go sign up for the Laser Master Academy. Don't forget to leave a like on the video so that people can find it down the road. And leave a comment after the stream is over to help boost engagement. That's it. That's all I got. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Laser Everything live stream. And I will see you in the next one. Have fun.